All right, so for this last problem set, what you needed to do was you needed to mix and match. So these equations on the left-hand side with the appropriate graph on the right-hand side. And the only thing you have to go off of is the only thing we know how to find is the zeros. So that's what you needed to do for each of these. You need to find the zeros. Now, I threw a curveball at you, and I gave you a few binomials. Remember, we've been factoring trinomials. That means 3 terms. That's what we've been doing. We did binomials a while ago, but it has been a while. But the good thing is that they're easier. But what I do find is that kids tend to forget these because we don't do them as much. But it is less steps. So let's just do this first one together. So what you wanted to do for this one, so remember, you don't need to do your diamond problems. That's the nice thing about this. All you need to do, let me rewrite the equation. So y equals 2x squared plus 5x. The first thing you want to do is you want to expand. So what I mean is you want to rewrite this. So this is 2x squared, so it's 2xx, right? 2 times x times x. That's what 2x squared means. And then we have 5x over here. And then we would ask ourselves, what do these two terms have in common? Well, I think most of us see, oh, they both have an x. Okay. And so then what you do is you pull that x out. So what I mean is you would have x over here and then parentheses. And whatever's left goes inside the parentheses. So 2x on this side plus 5. So that's how we factor the binomials. So we factored the binomials. You have your two factors. Then you just go right to your zero product property. You're going to take your two factors, set them equal to 0. So x equals 0 for this one. And that's easy. There's nothing to solve there. X equals 0. That is one of your zeros. That's what it looks like when one of your zeros is 0. And then you do the same thing. 2x plus 5 equals 0. And normally we have a one-step equation, but now we're left with a two-step equation. So that's okay. You're still just trying to solve for x. So first we'll minus 5 to both sides. Okay, those cancel out. We get 2x equals negative 5. And then we're going to divide by 2, divide by 2. Well, this is going to be a decimal, but that's okay. I think we'll still be able to figure it out. X equals negative 5 divided by 2 is negative 2.5. You didn't know that? You just use your calculator. So there are our two zeros. And so what you're going to do is then, okay, which graph goes with that? Well, let's see. We need a 0 of 0 and a 0 of negative 2.5. Well, I notice that this graph right here has a 0 here and a 0 at negative 2.5. So this one would match this one. Okay. So make sure so if you haven't done that, go and check these next three. Try them first and see if you can finish matching them. And then you can come back here and I'll show you which one goes with which. All right, so you should have tried this by now. So now I have all the rest of our work. So we can take a look. There's one I do want to look at, and that is the second one here. That's the other binomial. The only difference here was that when we went to expand this, we had 2 times x, and then we have 4x. Well, remember that 4 and that 2 share a factor, meaning they are both divisible by the same number, by 2. So really, I broke this down even further into 2 times x, because that will be 4x. And then they both share that 2. So if that was a little bit above where you're at with this, that's okay. But there was a few of us that were getting pretty good at this, so I wanted to throw in a problem like that as well. If you didn't do that, you actually would have been fine and ended up with the same zeros anyway. So that would have been fine as well. So anyway, then we end up with x equals 0, x equals negative 2. So I think you can go ahead and match which graph goes with what, but this is the work. And so pause this and check your work, see if you got the same things, and see if you can find where you may have made a mistake.